Taylor.
And I'm Jane.
And this is Bitchin' Batch.
Woo! Bitchin' Batch is where we bitch and batch. We're going to break down this episode of Colton Underwood season. It's hometown week.
It's week 8. Here we go. It's hometown. And you know what that means. Parents.
They were all very disapproving this episode. I feel like there's usually like one parent that disapproves, and this week it was like all of them. I mean, most of them he won over by the end, but I feel like we didn't really win over Tayshia's dad.
Cassie's dad did not give his blessing.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying I believe in the whole blessing thing, but The Bachelor does. So, as a franchise, it's always really important to The Bachelor to ask the contestant's dad for her hand in marriage. Old school, whatever. Anyways, that was a big thing this episode.
I also liked that Colton, instead of being like, can I have your daughter's hand in marriage, he said to all the parents, if I get to a place where I decide I want to marry your daughter and your daughter feels the same way, then may I have your permission. One of them was like, since you said it that way, yes. Like, I thought that was smart of him. I seriously think that Colton might not propose to someone. I think he's going to open that empty ring box that we saw in the promo and be like, let's date.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. So, first hometown is with Kaylin, who lives in Virginia.
They went for a horseback ride through her hometown. They got ice cream. Pretty run-of-the-mill, other than the fact that it was in a horse-drawn carriage. And Kaylin, I think, was the one person who was kind of almost unrealistic about bringing Colton home. Like, I feel like the rest of them were kind of like, yeah, I know this process seems unrealistic, but, like, I'm not saying I'm ready for marriage now. We're not saying he's ready for marriage now. We're just saying, like, if we get there, can you be on board? But she was like, no, I'm ready now. Tayshia did say she'd say yes if he proposed. Her sister had a really interesting orange eyeshadow. And then later, Kaylin was rocking the same look. So I was like, look at sisters sharing eyeshadow tips.
Second hometown was it Hannah G?
Yes, they went to Alabama. Hannah B's not the only one from there. We forget. They went for etiquette classes.
Oh my god.
We were all Colton in that moment because anytime the woman was like, no, first you have to rip a tiny piece of bread off of the roll and butter that and eat that. And Colton was like, that's ridiculous. I agreed with him. The etiquette training was dumb. I was like, no one cares about this type of etiquette anymore. And if you need to do that kind of thing to get her parents' blessing, then, like, why do you want to be part of that family? Like,
yeah, I don't know. But he definitely, I think, like, got along best with Hannah G. Like, I still want her to win.
You want her to win, or you think she will? I feel like those are two different things.
Yes, no, I want her to win. I don't think she will. I still think Cassie is.
You don't think? Oh, right.
I still think he's going to pick Cassie, but I think he should pick Hannah. Next was Tayshia, which was so cute. The whole thing. She, like, blindfolded him and said, do you trust me? And then she brought him to go skydiving. The whole time she was in the lead, like, in control of the date, which makes me think Bachelorette. I don't think she's going to win, but I do think she's going to be the Bachelorette, like, very strongly.
She'd be very good at it.
Yeah, I just think the way they've been showing her as, like,
trustworthy, takes no nonsense.
Yeah. And the Bachelorettes in general hold, like, they can hold themselves. They're very independent, and I don't think the rest of the contestants right now are the same way that Tayshia is. Tayshia's, like, she's got a hold of things.
Oh, it just makes me so anxious because, like, we got her right after the Hannah G date, and you could tell when he was saying goodbye to Hannah G that they're really into each other. But then we get Tayshia, and I just love her so much, and I know she'd be a great Bachelorette, but I'd be so happy if he picked her.
I think it'd be a really nice plot twist that we would not see a coming.
Mm.
I think it would still be out of left field if he chose Hannah, even though I think he should choose Hannah. Anyways, last date is Cassie.
They go to a beach. She's from somewhere in California where that's coastal. There's a beach. And she tries to teach him to surf. He's bad at it, which is endearing.
He's bad at a lot of stuff, which is always endearing. So, Cassie's date, it goes fine, and then they get to her house. Her dad is incredibly skeptical.
Yeah.
And, too hard. All of the fathers on The Bachelor are always possessive of their daughters. Because this show is still very much traditional. It needs to step it up sometimes. It's making its progresses, but the dads are always still possessive. Or they speak possessively on the hometowns. Or
which hometown? There was one hometown that a mom was being the possessive one.
Oh,
Hannah G.
Yes.
Ooh, her mom was tough.
Yeah.
And she had this glass of wine when she went to hug her daughter that was the most full I'd ever seen it. It was this big, and it was filled to here with white wine. And I was like, that's a mood. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, so Cassie's dad doesn't give his blessing to Colton to marry her.
For his 23-year-old daughter to marry this 26-year-old guy.
Honestly, I
don't
think
blame
it's
him
reasonable,
for being
yeah.
date more first.
But he tells her that he's falling in love with her, but she does not say it back.
No. Or does he say that to her? Because he says in the confessional that he really, she says to him, I don't want to stop this. I want to keep going. I'm having some reservations, but I want to keep dating you. And then he just says in the confessional, I wanted her to say she was falling in love with me.
There's just so many red flags at this point. Telltale signs that Cassie's, the one that's not ready. Which is fine, because she's 23. It's very understandable. However,
I'm not ready for marriage either.
At this point, it feels like she should have been sent home, but hasn't. And
he's just so into her.
Yeah.
Then it gets to be 15 minutes left of the show, and the two of us were wait, there's still time. Is he gonna jump a wall? Is he gonna jump a fence? Is he gonna run and pull himself over and have Chris Harrison say holy beep? No, it's just a rose ceremony, which still is really dramatic because I genuinely did not know what was gonna happen. I was screaming because I had suspected before watching this episode that Kaylin was going to go home, but I really thought she was going to keep going for a scene that I thought was in the promos for a future episode. So I was really confused about I thought it was going to be her, but she has to stay. I didn't know what was going to happen, and then when Kaylin was sent home, I was like, okay.
Yeah, when he gave the rose to Tayshia, I screamed.
No, that was a weight off my chest, because when he gave the first rose to Hannah G, I thought, oh no, Tayshia's going home. And then he said Tayshia second, and I was like, thank God! Mm-hmm. I love her, and I don't want her to be sent home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, here we are, another week without the wall. However, the teaser did tell us we are getting it next week.
It's a 2-part episode.
So, we got 4 hours to get that fence. We got 4 hours. If it doesn't show up, I quit. Show's over.
I mean,
we're done.
It's Fantasy Suite week, so it makes sense that it would happen next week because there's all this pressure around Colton to lose his virginity. Which, by the way, put in the comments, who do you think it's going to be 2 of the 3 left? Who do you think it's going to be?
Is it going to?
I think it'll be all of them. In that case, who first?
Yeah. Could it be none? Could he decide that he doesn't want to?
I'd like it if they left it kind of private for him. I know everyone in the world is going to be like, I want to know, but it feels like it's his business.
Yeah. Virginity is a social construct also. It's not real. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. Predictions.
I mean, I've been saying my prediction this whole episode. I think he picks Cassie, but they don't get engaged. Tayshia for next Bachelorette. Mm-hmm.
Hannah G's gonna be crushed.
Oh, that poor girl.
Crushed. I still think he's gonna pick Cassie. Yeah. Can't tell if he'll propose. But it seems like she's not ready either, so you could be right. You could be right.
I feel like this is a specific case because he's such a sweetheart, and the girl that I feel like he's going to pick, I feel like I don't trust.
I don't think he's going to pick Hannah, but I want him to. They're so...
And I don't think he's going to pick Tayshia, but I want... Usually we have the same opinions. Interesting. I'm not saying that I don't see it with Hannah. Like, I see him being really into her, but I think Tayshia would be so good for him.
Oh, yeah. Like, realistically speaking, if this were, like, normal life, like, Tayshia, all the way. She's the wife type.
Yeah.
She's the wife type. Hannah's, like, the...
Hey, Tayshia, if Colton doesn't pick you, I'm single. Remember how we all used to call Ari the kissing bandit because he looked like he was such a good kisser, and everyone was like, oh, pillowy lips. Move over. Did you see that subtle tongue that he slipped Hannah G tonight?
Oh, yeah. You go, Colton boy. All right. We will see you next week for Fantasy Suite.
Yeah, we don't know we're necessarily we're not gonna do 2 episodes next week because it's a 2-parter. But we might do like an Instagram live or something after we watch the first part. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned. Follow us on all our platforms. Like, subscribe. Lunar Buzz. I like the moon. She likes peace. I just wrote this song.
Bye.